You're watching Arise, the world's standout news channel. Arise News, awards, and beyond.
Hello and welcome to this week's 60 minutes of analytical review of the big stories, topical issues, and all the controversies around the world. We're live in the nation's capital here in Abuja. I am Ndi Amuku. In the headlines, Niger Delta Group endorses President Bola Tinubu, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori as sole candidates ahead of 2027. And Nigeria-Jamaica relations in focus is 32nd annual meeting of African Export-Import Bank ends in Abuja. Stay with us. Hello and welcome once again. We begin from Delta State, where a forum of political leaders of Ishekiri extraction within the All Progressives Congress APC has endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Sheriff Oborevwori as the sole candidates for the 2027 general elections. Well, according to the forum, the 2027 general election will be an easy sale for President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress in the region. Well, the vote of confidence on both men is as a result of their midterm performance scorecard. The group specifically acknowledged Oborevwori's performance in Delta State, saying the governor has virtually turned Delta into a construction site. Well, to help us x-ray the midterm scorecard of Governor Oborevwori of Delta State is the State Commissioner for Works, Charles Aniagwu. Charles, glad to have you join us on the program.
Thank you very much indeed. It's nice to be here. Good evening, Nigeria.
Nice to have you. Well, let's begin this way. What does this endorsement signify? What does it translate to? What does it mean?
Well, for us, the endorsement means that Deltans have been able to appreciate what the governor is doing and what he has done in the past 2 years. And in that past 2 years, the governor have tried as much as possible to keep faith with the promises he made. And in making those promises, he came up with 4 thematic areas encapsulated in the MORE agenda. And then that MORE agenda, he was clear in his mind that there was a need to bring about meaningful development to the people of Delta, create a whole lot of opportunities across different sectors, and of course, across the 3 senatorial districts. And that opportunity have to touch the lives of all of the individuals who live and do business in Delta. He was also very clear in that 4 thematic area, so that he was also going to make sure that he bring about certain level of realistic reforms, reform that touch the lives of the people, reform that speaks to development in different areas, and of course, knowing that for him to survive and record appreciable progress in these 3 first thematic areas, there is a need to have a whole level of peace and security, because in an atmosphere of chaos, it's always impossible to bring to bear whatever dreams you may have been able to put together in form of a vision. And so he was also clear that he needed to pursue peace in an enhanced form and ensure that there is security across the 25 local government areas, so that whatever plan he has in each of the local government areas, such plans are not thwarted by the effort of individuals who may want to engage in crimes and criminalities. And so our people have always been very, very grateful. They know how to reward hard work, and they are quite clear in their minds that Oborewvori have been able to bring development to their communities. And as such, the best thing to do in that regard is to say, look, we appreciate what you have done, and we are quite supportive of your desire to take a shot again at the #1 seat in the state in 2027.
All right. Well, I just read a piece now, and the talk is that it will be an easy sale for the president and for the APC, of course, nay, the governor in Delta State. I asked this question, what gives the forum, it's a tiny portion of Delta State, one must say, what gives this forum this impression? I ask this because PDP has held sway in Delta State for 26 years. You can't neglect that fact.
The people that had sway in that PDP are also the people that moved into the APC. And so when, for instance, you are a grade A student in a particular school and you decide to move to another school, that you have moved out of your school does not mean that you're not capable of also showing that indeed you belong to the grade A class. So those individuals who had sway in the old party that we belong, the PDP, are still the same individuals who have moved. But beyond the fact that they have moved, the many giant strides of Oborewvori speaks clearly to the minds of our people that indeed where the child sees snail in the course of movement, the tendency for that child to always look in that direction is always very, very clear. They have seen that Oborewvori and his team are delivering. And of course, moving into the APC means that even the president will also have some benefit from the performance of Oborewvori. That will also bring in his acceptability more to the people than if Oborewvori were to have remained in the PDP and possibly campaign for the PDP candidate. But now that the president and the governor are on the same platform, you expect that this love for Oborewvori will to a very large extent also dovetail into the love for the president. And good enough, like they say, every politics is local.
Yep.
The president too, coming from the center, have also been able to show quite some level of love for the administration and for the state. How do I mean? Today, as we speak, the approach road to the second Niger Bridge, which is about 17.5 kilometers, is being constructed. The Benin, Asaba, dual carriage up to the Summit Junction has been concessioned. The government have also proceeded to award from the Summit Junction up to the Niger Bridge. The Saple to Amukbe, moving towards Abraka, and of course, that will also head towards Abo, is being worked on. And so when you see this level of work being done, you will not have any choice than to begin to think of how do we hold on to these individuals who are making this possible. And so that is why you could see that our people in appreciation of these developmental strides that I have mentioned are saying, let's head in this direction. In the case of Oborewvori, it's across the 25 local government areas. His footprints are very, very bold. He has been able to ensure that travel time between major cities, particularly from Asaba to Warri, is reduced. Before he came in, it takes as much as 2 hours 30 minutes to 2 hours 40 minutes. Today, just 1 hour, in just 1 hour 55 minutes, in some instances 1 hour 50 minutes, you are able to navigate through Asaba to Warri, which is the commercial center of the state. So he has been able to bridge that gap between the capital, the state capital, where you have the political power and a whole lot of political office holders residing, and then Warri, a major city, a commercial city, and an oil city, where you also have a whole lot of human and vehicular as well as business interaction taking place. Ditto, a number of other communities between local governments have been linked. And that is without prejudice to what he has also done in advancing the cause of healthcare. And so when the people put all these on the table, you will understand why they are reasoning the way they are reasoning.
What they're saying is an easy sale. Now, but the talk out there is that because you said, I heard you say that, I talked about 26 years of PDP holding sway.
Yeah.
And 26 years is not a small number of years, but you said that people have also moved.
Those who held sway in 26 years have moved.
But what I have, counteracted if I'm wrong, is that many PDP members did not cross over. Instead, there's a regrouping of those who didn't defect. They're angry that the COA foisted Oborewvori on them.
I don't know what that means. It was not COA alone that voted in the 25 local government areas.
No, but
in the course of 2023 general elections, Oborewvori won in 21 out of the 25 local government areas, overwhelmingly. COA wasn't the one voting in those 21 local government areas where he won. And besides, having won that election, the man have also come to show the stuff is made of. He has been able, riding on the platform of more, been able to sustain not only the developmental trajectory that he met on ground, he has also been able to take it a notch higher and bring in a whole lot of initiatives that are quite germane to the desires of our people who indeed long for development across the different senatorial districts. And he has been able to do that, in which case even those who did not even vote for him in 2023 have now seen that indeed they made mistake because they misjudged him. And so, if anybody is saying that there are a number of persons who did not defect, we want them to tell us who they are. We have 29 members of the State House of Assembly. The 29 members as we speak today are in the APC. There is none in our former party. We have 10 House of Representative members in Delta. The 10 of them are in the APC.
Each has one vote.
Yes, we have not one
Each
vote.
has
No. That's what we are talking about leaders who ordinarily, if they don't move, you know that there are groupings who are supporting them not to move. It's just like when they say the president has one vote. The president has one vote, but you know today, if the president moves out of APC and to another party, that party becomes the ruling party. I hope you know. It becomes the ruling party. It is where the leader of the state is that determines what party is in charge of that state. That president is one person, but you know that politically he's not one person.
Okay,
but and so all these persons, the 3 senators are in the APC. All the commissioners, 30 of them, are in the APC. All the special advisors, to the best of my knowledge, are in the APC. All the special assistants, senior special assistants, executive assistants, all the 25 local government chairmen are in the APC.
And this is just like suddenly.
So who are those persons? No, I told you that the political machinery that had sway formerly in the PDP moved en masse. That means these grade A students that were making the PDP to be that strong in these 26 years you have alluded to have now
not
moved.
alluded to, that's what it is.
Yes, that you have mentioned have now moved. And the fact that they have moved meant that the political machinery have also moved in the direction that they navigated towards.
What do you say to those who are saying that that the governor has no real following, that he's a general who surrendered with no troops, that those with him are with him because they need their salaries and they don't number up to voting population in Delta State?
India,
I mentioned about
India. I'm not too sure you are describing Delta in that instance. Nobody.
I just said
yes,
that's
nobody.
So it's
nobody.
For you to tell
I am
me,
sure nobody will wake up and say that Oborewvori is a general without troops. Nobody will say so. Not in Delta, not anywhere in this country. Nobody. We are talking about Delta. Perhaps that could be in any other state. In Delta, Oborewvori is not only a general. He's a commander that is in charge of his army. And his army takes instruction and follow his leading. And good enough, he's leading from the front, not from the rear. And so, there is nobody, and I can say so anytime, that can appear anywhere and insinuate that Oborewvori is not in charge. Very much in charge. Governance level, very much in charge. Politically, very much in charge. Grassroots touch, very much in charge. And so, we are happy that our brothers from across the 25 local government areas are beginning to say, yes, it's going to be a smooth sail. But you know what? We are not carried away by endorsements. because Oborewvori's commitment to governance, even up to 2027, is something that is unshaken. Yes, we like it. We appreciate the fact that individuals are navigating towards us and they want the governor to run. But the governor says, what I want to speak more for me is the footprints that I'm leaving behind. Footprints of development. And that is why you continue to see that day-to-day projects worth billions are being awarded, are being executed, are being commissioned. And so, for those of us who are part of his army, our joy is the fact that we are being led by a general who understands the developmental needs of our people. And so, we are also convinced that nobody at any given time will wake up any day and say Oborewvori is not working.
Just for clarity.
We always challenge them. Just tell us your ward, not even your local government. Tell us where your ward is.
Just for clarity, have both of them, that's Okowa and the governor, Oborewvori, submitted their resignation letters to their PDP ward chairman? You said politics is local.
Yeah.
So have they?
The issue, don't forget that when we defected.
Have they?
Hold on. When we defected, it was made known to the public. Your medium was there. Defection does not have one strict approach that you must enter from Ujueleba Street and not from Ailara. No. You could defect from the state government, bring in the party, announce it, and it becomes very, very clear that you have jumped ship. There is no law that says that until we see you discussing with somebody. Don't also forget that the person you are asking them to hand over the letter to of defection also defected. The people you are talking about also defected. So are you going to hand over a defection letter to a man who have also defected? All the ward chairmen, all the local government chairmen, the state chairman and the state chairman and all his ESCO members, all of them defected into the APC. So how do you go to a man who have defected with you and say, come, this is my letter of defection, when he himself have also defected?
Well, okay. Still discussing, we'll get back to this question of a defection and its implications both for the governor and the president. But you said that it's become expedient because of happenings at the national level recently. In fact, just yesterday.
Is it just recently?
No, I'm saying I'm trying to bring up another subject. Okay. Recently, just yesterday, the APC was a little bit shaken. The chairman of the APC resigned.
The acting chairman.
The chairman of the, no, I'm not talking about Delta now. I'm talking about happenings at the national level, because the endorsement was for both Oborewvori, the governor, and the president. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you said it's expedient because of happenings at the national level. But at this national level now, the chairman of APC,
national level of the PDP, as at that time, it became expedient for us to move.
Oh, what is happening at the national level of the PDP?
Yes. So now you can come into the APC.
Yeah, okay, fine. So things are happening at the national level of the APC. The chairman suddenly resigned. The talk is that it's for health reasons and his family. Doesn't that have implications for the president?
No, that's
and
it.
For the APC?
You must understand the issues of party politics. Anybody can resign at any time. That doesn't become a problem. What becomes a problem is when you have a number of persons laying claim to a position. And when those individuals are key to the functionality of that party, particularly the engine room of the party, which is the office of the secretary, national secretary. If, for instance, the national secretary had resigned, that wouldn't be a crisis. Another person will step in.
Okay.
But when you have the national secretary saying, I am the national secretary, and another person's, the caucus of the Southeast, where the national secretary is from, says, no, this is also the national secretary. And the governor's forum says, this is also the national secretary. Now, when it's time for nomination, which of these secretaries will sign your nomination form. You heard the umpire a few days ago saying that the reason why they were not likely going to attend the neck of the party is because they were not too clear as to the authority of the person who signed the invitation to come to the neck.
You're talking about PDP.
Yes. So once you have that kind of challenge, it's a different thing entirely. That is not what you have now in the APC. So even if 3, 4, 5 persons resigns, you will have some other persons who will step in.
Well, you're aware of what happened in Gombe, the talk. But let's not just go there for now. You traveled recently with the governor to China. What are the benefits of that travel? You want to tell
Well, first of all, we were very, very happy that we were invited, and that invitation was on the strength of the governor's knack for excellence, as well as his prudent approach to project execution. And so they felt that he was qualified to attend that very high-powered infrastructure forum. And whilst we were there, we had interactions with a number of persons. We were also able to see that a whole number of our approach to policy implementation is in the right course. At least you're able to also understand what other persons are doing. Because when you talk about standards, particularly in the area of infrastructure, there's not like Nigerian standards. You should have standards that are international. And so when you're able to play at that level, you're able to check whether the standard you are bringing to bear is in line with that international standard. That's first gain. Then we're also able to look at what is happening and then weigh the capacity of some of the construction giants to be able to know that if indeed we want such a company to come and become a player in our state, that we are convinced that we have primary information or knowledge about that particular company. And so it was a good thing for us to be part of that forum. And there's a whole lot of knowledge that we took away from that. And by the time we came back, we were already beginning to look at how we can also put that to bear and strengthen our program implementation initiatives and all that. And so there's a whole lot that we took away from that particular visit.
All right. Because of time, I wanted to, but let's leave it there. Let's see what plays out. 2027 is around the corner. We'll see what plays out both for PDP, the party you and your governor left.
Well, be rest assured that we will continue to adhere to the leading of the governor, who believes so much in the development of the state.
Right.
And we are quite convinced that with such development, our victory is surer than sure.
Okay. All right, that's the Delta State Commissioner for Works, Charles Aniagwu. Thank you for being on This Week Today on Arise News.
Thank you very much indeed. Rest assured that even in works, I'm in charge of rural routes and then also public information. So I'm also in charge of the State Ministry of Information.